You're listening to the Evil Orphan murder trial of Dima Tower from the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today.
Excuse yourself, okay? I can't have anybody in any way trying to influence our jury. They're going to make a decision based on the facts, the witnesses called, etc., and the law, okay? At some point during the trial, it may be that autopsy photos are shown. Of course, those can be graphic and difficult to look at. Again, if if you're having a difficult time keeping your composure, it's understandable, but please quietly remove yourself from the courtroom. You can, of course, come back in once that type of testimony is completed, okay? Also, please try not to go in and out of the courtroom if you can avoid it. I need the jurors to be able to focus on the lawyers when they speak, the court, and the witnesses, and the evidence. We will take breaks periodically where you'll have opportunities to leave the courtroom, use the restroom, and make calls, okay? Please make sure your phones are turned to silent or off. Appreciate it so we don't have any unnecessary disturbances. All right. Good morning, Mr. Tower.
Morning.
All right, we have the defendant, Mr. Tower, in the courtroom. We have Mr. Gilman. We have our prosecutors who are finishing up getting the evidence pre-marked. Deputy, do we have all our jurors up?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Notepads are out. Folks, I went over all those preliminary instructions on Monday after we selected and swore in the jury. Mr. Gilman, is there any instruction that you'd like for me to give to the jury before opening statements?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Frably?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Whipple?
I'll answer for her.
Say no.
No, say no. Leon, say no.
Okay.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, as soon as the state has their evidence pre-marked, we'll begin with the trial, okay? Mr. Tower, we do have a notepad and a pen. There's cups, water. Be careful when you pour it. It comes out quick. If you need another notepad or pen, let the bailiffs know. Let me remind you the headphones you can put on if we have a bench discussion here at the bench, okay? I do have Zoom open.
All rise. Jurors, Henry. All the way down to that first one. Yep. That's following all day. So you should be ready.
When you get to your seats, go ahead and be seated, folks. Welcome back. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, everybody may be seated. We have our jurors back. Welcome back, folks. Remember, they're all standing out of respect for you. So as soon as you go ahead and come into the courtroom, you can go ahead and find your seats. As promised, there is the notepad there. And you'll see there's no names on it, of course. There should be a number. So if you can just remember your number, it might be ideal. It's not required, of course, but if you just sit in the same seats, that way your notepad will just be right there in front of you, okay? All right, members of the jury, welcome back. Today's day one of the evidence. You might recall on Monday, we picked you, we swore you in, and I went over those pre-trial instructions. I explained how a trial will proceed. You might recall that the next step in the trial is going to be the opening statements by the attorneys. Let me remind you folks that the opening statements is an opportunity for the lawyers to tell you what evidence they believe will be presented during the trial. But let me also remind you that what they say during the opening statements is not the actual evidence, okay? It's used, it's there to be a roadmap to guide you as you go through the trial. Okay, are both sides ready to proceed? Is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, our procedure has the state go first. State, when you're ready, please begin.
Yes, Your Honor. May it please the court? Members of the jury. Rage. That was the defendant's answer. In this case, the evidence will show
that on the morning of September 1st of 2023, the morning after the defendant stabbed his parents to death, after he led the Northport Police Department on a high-speed chase down and up I-75, after he ran through woods and swam through canals for almost 8 hours to avoid capture. The morning after, he sat in an interview room with detectives, and they asked him a question. What happened last night? What happened? Help us understand. And you'll hear that he answered with one word: rage. A rage that he described had been boiling until it reached the point the previous night where he decided to do it. As you've been instructed, Dima Tower, the defendant in this case, has been charged with 3 criminal offenses for his conduct on the night of August 31st of 2023. 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder for the murder of Robbie and Jennifer Tower, and 1 count of fleeing to elude law enforcement. In this trial, the state will prove to you that the defendant is guilty as charged by presenting evidence. In this trial, you'll hear evidence, and you'll see it in witness testimony, in physical exhibits, in video, in photographs, in the results of forensic testing, and in this case, you will also hear the defendant's own words. For the witness testimony, you'll hear from civilians. You'll hear from Jonna Walton. She was a neighbor on Malachite Road of the Towers. She knew them personally. They were friends. You'll hear how, on the night of August 31st, she was asleep in her bed. You'll hear how close to midnight she was woken up by sounds at the door, ringing, banging. You'll hear how she heard a woman's voice call out for help. And that voice was so desperate that she did not recognize it. You'll hear how she ran down the stairs. And a few moments later, she called law enforcement, 911. And you'll hear how she opened the door. No one was there, but she saw the blood. She saw stains of blood. And you'll see photographs of that blood, starting at her door, her doorbell, going across the driveway, down, all the way to the Tower home. You'll also hear from civilian Miss Melissa Snow. She was staff at a local preschool near the Lower Road exit of I-75 in Venice. You'll hear how she went to work that day, about 7:30, like normal, and there was lockdown because of the defendant at large in the area. You'll hear how she saw someone matching that description, and she notified law enforcement. And he was heading in the direction that about 30 minutes later, he was finally apprehended. You'll hear from Kay Rosas. She was a store clerk at the Shell gas station, where the defendant was ultimately arrested. You'll see the video of him going through that store. And you'll see him walking like it was any other day, like nothing had happened. You'll also hear from law enforcement witnesses in this trial. You'll hear from Officer Tyler Ragakis of the Northport Police Department. You'll hear how he was the first officer on scene at 1240 Malachite Road, and he saw the defendant getting ready and getting in his car, and he called out to him. And you'll hear from his testimony, but you'll also see it in his dash cam footage. You'll see the defendant ignore him, get in his car, and speed away around another officer coming down the road. You'll see for about 30 minutes the defendant's driving. First, as he's speeding through the residential streets of Northport, running stop signs. At one point he goes, you'll see, down the opposite side of the road to try to get away from officers. You'll see when he merges on I-75, you'll see him drive around cars and speed towards Charlotte County until he turns around and goes back towards Venice. And you'll see where he finally abandons the car and takes off running into the woods, where he's able to avoid officers for that entire night up until the next morning. You'll hear testimony from Detective Cade Ryder. He was an officer at the time with the Venice Police Department. He was the one who went out to location where a sighting of a potential subject was called out near the Lower Road exit. And you'll hear how he happened to be checking the Shell gas station at the same time the defendant was walking in the back of the building, and they were able to make the arrest. You'll also hear from Corporal St. Jean. He was the lead detective assigned to this case in this investigation. You'll hear the steps of his investigation, identifying a suspect, and you'll hear how, after the defendant was arrested, he and another detective, Detective Chippendale, with the Northport Police Department, went to the police station in Venice to meet with the defendant, where they conducted an interview. That interview was video recorded, so you will hear in this trial the defendant's own words about what happened. You will hear that prior to that night, despite his parents being loving, the defendant was angry. Angry at life, that it was not turning out the way he expected. And that anger was building and boiling. You'll hear how that night was not the first time he thought about killing his parents. You'll hear how that day started out like any other normal day for him, that he went for a full shift at his job, came home, then went to his car and had a drink and began to think. You'll hear how that's when the thoughts came again, that he wasn't happy in killing his parents. You'll hear how he went back into the house, into his bedroom, and he continued to have that thought. And that's when he decided to do it. That's what he was going to do, and you'll hear this in the interview, that he was going to get it over with. You'll hear him describe as he walks to the kitchen, takes a knife out of the knife block, a steak knife, and he walks to the master bedroom. You'll hear how that day, that night, there was no argument. There was no confrontation. His parents were asleep in their bed. He walked into the bedroom, he went to his father's side of the bed, and he started to stab into the darkness. You'll hear him describe how he stabbed too many times that he couldn't even count. You'll hear the defendant say that the knife slipped away as he was stabbing. And you'll hear how losing the knife was not enough to stop him, that he walked back to the kitchen, grabbed a second knife out of the block, and walked back to the bedroom. And these are his own words to finish what he started. You'll hear how, as he's stabbing his father tried to fight him off. But there was blood everywhere, and the defendant was too strong. You'll hear how his father, Robbie Tower, went to the living room to try to get away, and the defendant followed him and continued to stab until Robbie Tower died, collapsed on the carpet of the living room floor. You'll hear how the defendant's mother woke up while this was happening and tried to defend her husband, but she wasn't strong enough. You'll hear how after she was stabbed, she fled to the neighbor's house for help. And you'll hear how the defendant followed her and took her back inside. You'll hear how the defendant did not immediately finish killing her. You'll hear how he had things to say first. You'll hear how she sat on the couch while he stood over her, telling her those things. You'll hear how while she was on the couch, she cried and pled for her life. But the defendant didn't care. And when he was done, that's when he decided to finish killing her. You'll hear how he stabbed her again, over and over again, in her face and her neck. You'll hear how she didn't die on the couch. She was able to crawl away on the carpet looking for her husband. And you'll hear that's where she died, lying next to him. You'll hear how, when he was done, the defendant knew someone would have called the police and he had to move fast. So you'll hear how he made a series of calculated decisions after they were dead. You'll hear how he took the knife that he had and he cleaned it and he put it in the knife block. He cleaned himself off, he grabbed some belongings, and he went to his car to leave. You'll hear how he saw law enforcement get there. He heard the officer call out. And he didn't give a shit. Those are his words. You'll hear again how that night was not the first time he thought about hurting his parents. But that was the night that he decided to finally do it. And you'll hear motive. When detectives ask him, how could your rage get to that point? Help us understand what happened. He answered that he was fed up with this country and the bullshit that this country had to offer him. And his parents, they were a part of that. And he didn't like them as people anymore. And so he knew he would kill them. In this trial, you'll also hear from law enforcement witnesses that specialize in forensics and evidence collection. You'll hear from crime scene technician Elizabeth Walker. You'll see the photographs that she took and see the videos that she documented of 1240 Malacott Road and the surrounding houses that night. You'll see the signs of a violent struggle. You'll see the bedroom where the killing started and the bloody sheets, still wet when they were photographed. You'll see bloodstains going up to the ceiling, surrounding everything around the bed. You'll see the living room. You'll see the stains on the couch where Robbie and Jennifer Tower were. And you'll see their final resting place on the living room carpet. And you see the bloodstains going from the front door to the neighbor's house of Jennifer Tower, trying to get help. You'll also see the knives that were collected that the defendant used to kill his parents. You'll also hear from crime scene technician Courtney Stender. She assisted with processing and documenting the vehicle that the defendant fled in and abandoned that night. And you'll see pictures of that vehicle. Next, you'll hear from Charlene Webster with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. You'll hear how she received the knives and blood samples from the Northport Police Department in evidence, and she performed testing on those samples. You'll hear about her procedures for doing that, and you'll hear how, at the conclusion of her testing, that Robbie and Jennifer Tower's blood, as well as the defendants, were identified on the knives that he admitted to using. Lastly, you'll hear from Dr. Russell Vega. He's the chief medical examiner for the 12th Circuit. He examined the victims in the home where they died. He also performed formal autopsies in the medical examiner's office. Through his testimony and the pictures that you'll have to see, you will see the extent and the quantity of the stab wounds to Robbie and Jennifer Tower. The evidence will show that Robbie Tower had 68 penetrating wounds. Wounds to his scalp, his neck, shoulders, chest, his back, arms, and one of his legs. You'll hear that Robbie Tower had perforations of a carotid artery, larynx, and his left lung. You'll also see and hear that Jennifer Tower had 79 penetrating stab wounds, clustered over her scalp, her head, her back, her right shoulder, her chest and arms, and 38 stab wounds to her neck. You'll hear that she had perforations of her carotid artery, her internal jugular vein, and even her spinal cord. At the end of this trial, and the close of all the evidence, after the judge instructs you in the law, the state will ask you to render a verdict that aligns with three things: the evidence that you will be presented, the law, and your common sense. We will ask that you render a verdict that holds the defendant accountable and that you find the defendant guilty as charged. Thank you.
Right, defense, when you're ready.
Thank you. It has a lot to do with everything that I've been through, everything that I've seen. On the date that the state is talking about, Dima Tower was a few days short of his 22nd birthday. He had been in this country for approximately 7 to 8 years. He came from Ukraine, where he was in foster care prior to coming to this country. He was in foster care, you will hear, because his mother passed away when he was very young, and his family in Ukraine just didn't want to deal with him. So they put him in foster care in a country at war, where he was raised until two strangers picked him up and brought him to America. I'm basically a nobody coming from nowhere. That's what Mr. Tower said. This trial is going to be a little bit different. If you're expecting that I'm going to stand here and say that Mr. Tower is not guilty of anything, you would be incorrect. We talked during jury selection about different levels of murder and different levels of homicide.
Let's continue for a moment. Let's see if we can continue.
Sure.
Go ahead, Mr. Gilman.
So the decision that you collectively as a group and individually will have to come to is whether or not Mr. Tower has the ability to fully form the...
It's difficult for, I think, us
Sure.
here. Let's take a short break. Members of the jury, can you please leave your notepads turned down here in the courtroom, writing implements on top. Don't discuss anything related to your jury service. You're going to get tired of me saying that, okay? Everybody please stand. Jurors exiting.
All rise, jurors exiting.
Okay.
Okay. You're there.
All right, we just, everybody may be seated. We just had, I just excused the jury. It got to the point where the defendant, in crying and using Kleenex, was disrupting the jury trial. Mr. Tower, I won't allow that to continue, so take a moment, compose yourself, and we'll get started in about 5 or so minutes, okay? We'll take a short break.
All rise. Court is in a brief recess.
The defendant, Mr. Tower. Mr. Tower, we just had to take a break because of your behavior in the courtroom. You were showing emotion, crying, sobbing, using Kleenex. You were here when I spoke to the audience this morning, right, Mr. Tower?
I don't know. Was it?
Okay. I spent time this morning, I thought you were in here, where I instructed those in the audience that they can't show emotion, that there are times during especially a murder trial where the emotion might be high, and that if they're unable to handle it, I need them to remove themselves from the courtroom. I will not allow the jury to be persuaded or interfered with by folks showing that emotion in the courtroom, okay? And that includes you, Mr. Tower. So you need to handle yourself accordingly. If you need to take a break because you feel that the emotion is too high and you're struggling, please bring it to Mr. Gilman's attention and we can take a break, okay? But we can't have any more outbursts like that in front of the jury. Do you understand, Mr. Tower? Anything else, Mr. Gilman, you wanted to add?
No, Your Honor.
State?
No, thank you.
Okay. Are both sides ready to bring the jurors back in?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have your thoughts together where you were in your statement, Mr. Gilman?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Let's bring the jurors back in. All right, everybody may be seated. Welcome back, members of the jury. As soon as you're seated and situated, the defense will pick right back up where they left off on their opening statement. Let's give them a minute, Mr. Gilman.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, they're ready to go. You may continue.
We talked during jury selection a little bit about different levels of murder, right? First degree, second degree, manslaughter. You'll get instructions on all of these when the case is closed. I anticipate you will hear evidence that will be relevant to you about premeditation. And essentially, that's the question you're here to decide. I do not anticipate having to make a decision as to whether Mr. Tower did acts that endangered people's lives and ultimately ended them. He did. The question you're going to have to decide is what level of crime that is. At the end of the case, after you hear all of the evidence, what we would be asking is that you find Mr. Tower guilty of manslaughter for the deaths of both the victims in this case. You will hear instructions, you will hear evidence, you individually and collectively make that decision. So at the end of the case, again, I will ask you to do the same thing I'm asking you now. Keep an open mind, listen to the evidence, and find Mr. Tower guilty of a manslaughter. Thank you.
That concludes the opening statements. So there's the roadmap for the trial. Next, we move into the evidence portion of the trial. State, please call your first witness.
Yes, the state will call Ms. Jonna Walton.
Are we using a jury room down the hall, or what do we know? Not jury room, I'm sorry, witness room?
We have
No?
not used it so far,
Okay.
but we
Stand right here, face the clerk, raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Good morning, Ms. Walton.
Good morning.
Can you introduce yourself to the jury and spell your last name for the record?
I can. My name is Jonna Walton, and it's Walton.
And where do you live, Ms. Walton?
I live at 1200 Malakote Road in Northport, Florida, 34288.
Thank you. And I know it's not something you do every day, so you might be a little bit nervous.
Correct.
But if you don't mind trying to speak up a little bit louder.
I sure will.
Thank you. So how long have you lived on Malakote Road?
Almost 3 years.
Okay. And through your time living there, did you come to know the residents of 1240 Malakote Road, Robbie and Jennifer Tower?
I did.
Did you consider them personal friends?
I did.
Describe their role in the neighborhood.
Well, we called them the mayor of Malakote Road. He and Robbie and Jen both got us together every month. He was always walking his dogs down the street, saying hi. We were always seeing them. They'd come over our house at least twice a week, and we'd just hang out and talk. So we were good friends.
And through that, did you also come to know their adoptive son, Dima Tower?
Just briefly.
All right. And is the Tower's home right next door to yours, or was it further down the street?
There's one house in between us. It's one house over.
Okay. And did anyone live in that house between your home and the Tower's home?
Not on that date. Someone does now, but not then.
Okay, so in 2023 it was vacant.
Correct, it's a rental.
All right. Now, I want to take you back to the night of August 31st of 2023. Were you home that night?
I was.
And who else was home with you?
My husband, my son, and my daughter.
All right. How old are your children?
Right now, 10 and 19.
Okay. Now, just before midnight that night, what were you doing?
I was sleeping.
Okay. Were you sleeping in your bedroom?
I was.
Okay. And is your bedroom on the first or the second floor?
It's on the second floor.
Okay. And is it located at the back of the house or more towards the front of the house?
It's actually on the side. It goes front to back on the side of the house.
Okay. Now, about a quarter till midnight, did something wake you up?
It did.
Tell the jury what you heard.
Well, I heard the Ring doorbell at first.
Okay.
So-
And after you heard that doorbell, what did you hear next?
I heard banging and screaming for help. I need help. I need help.
Okay. And that voice, I need help, I need help. Did you recognize that voice?
I did not recognize the voice at the time. It woke me up out of a sleep. It's just a female voice. That's all I could know at the time.
Okay. Now, when you heard what was happening at your door, were you afraid?
Yeah, I was concerned. I ran downstairs to my daughter, who was sleeping downstairs in the room down there, and that was the first thing I did, make sure she was okay.
Okay. So when you ran downstairs, you made sure she was okay?
I did.
Okay. Did you see your son as well?
He followed me down the stairs, because so he heard it as well.
Okay. Now, after you made sure that your daughter was safe, what did you do then?
I went back upstairs. My husband was actually still asleep, and I woke him up, and I explained what I had heard. So.
Yeah. And I want to take just one step back.
Okay.
Before you went back upstairs, did you do anything to try to see what was happening outside?
Yeah, I did. I actually peeked through, right next to our front door, there's a glass window, and there's mini blinds on it. So I peeked through those to see anything, but our light was off, so it was dark out there. I didn't see anything.
Okay. And after you checked that front window, did you check another window at the front of your house?
I did. Right next to it is that office / guest room, and there's a window in there too. It's a little bit bigger window, so I checked that one too to see if I could see anything. But it was dark. It was dark
Yeah.
outside.
So were you able to see anyone at your door out that window?
I couldn't see anything.
No. Okay. So after you did that, what did you do then?
I went up. That's when I went up to go wake my husband up and tell him what I heard, and then I came back downstairs.
Yeah. So when you first wake up your husband, what were you guys doing upstairs?
We were actually trying to find the gun safe key. We couldn't find it, so of course we were very nervous. It was concerning. So we trying to find the key. He was looking around for it, and I went back downstairs to my daughter
Yeah.
and to my son.
Yeah.
So
Was he able to find the gun?
he was not.
Okay. So once you go back downstairs, were you able to see anything at that point?
No.
No. Okay. So what did you do then?
That's when I called 911.
Okay. And when you called 911, about, to the best of your memory, how much time had passed since you were first woken up?
Couldn't have been more than 5 minutes. Just maybe that's about it.
Yeah. Now, while you were talking on the phone with the 911 dispatcher, did you open your front door?
I did.
Can you tell the jury what you saw?
I saw a lot of blood on the ground. I didn't expect that. I had actually turned the light on to see, and when I did, I looked down and you can see it all on my front porch, front walkway.
And what did you do when you saw that blood?
Oh, I kind of freaked out a little. I told them that we needed someone. I don't know if it was an ambulance or police or whoever. 911 told me to shut the door and lock it, and I did. So, and they asked me to stay on the phone with them until an officer showed up.
Yeah. So you were still on the phone while that
Yes.
happened?
Yes.
All right.
You may.
So I'm showing you the film pre-marked as States Exhibit 2 for identification. Can you take a look at that disc?
Yes, I see it.
Do you recognize it?
I do.
How do you recognize it?
This was the disc that we reviewed prior to this to make sure, and I signed it and dated it.
Okay, so you reviewed the contents of that disc?
I did.
Okay. And are the contents of that disc a true and accurate copy of the 911 call that you made on August 31st of 2023?
It is.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would move to enter States 2 into evidence.
No objection.
Right. What's been pre-marked as States Exhibit Number 2 will be admitted into evidence. You may publish it at your leisure. Are you going to play it right now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there a transcript with that or no?
No.
No. Okay. Before you publish it, let me let the jurors know. All items that are admitted into evidence, for example, this 911 tape, it's not your last opportunity to view, listen to, or consider that evidence. At the end of the trial, when you're in that deliberation room, we'll have what we call a jury card. IT will come down and explain it to you, and you'll be able to, for example, put this disc into your jury card and listen to it again in the jury room, okay?
And for the record, the state's publishing States 2. And it might get a little bit of light.
You can.
What is the location of the emergency?
Excuse me, it's not much emergency anymore right now, but we live at 1200 Malakote Road in Northport. So I was trying to reach Northport Police, and it keeps sending me back to this.
Okay, so you got a police issue going on?
No, I was upstairs in bed, and my daughter was sleeping downstairs, and someone screamed and banged on our door and rang the doorbell, screaming, I need help, I need help. It took me a second to register what was going on, and we were trying to find, our gun upstairs before we opened the door, and the person's gone.
Okay, well, let's connect you to Northport so they can check the area. Let me connect you, please.
Okay, thank you.
Northport emergency. This is Sarasota connecting a caller at 1200 Malakote Road. Okay. Caller, what's your emergency?
Yes, ma'am. It's not much emergency for us right now, but about 5 minutes ago or so, maybe a few more, there was a woman that came on the door. I was upstairs sleeping, but I heard the doorbell ring. And my daughter was sleeping upstairs, and the girl was screaming, I guess, and I heard her scream. My son heard her scream, and she's saying, I need help, and I didn't, when I got downstairs, the person's gone, but there's not a lot of houses around here, there's a few, but whoever it is, someone,
So it was
I heard
one woman. It was one woman. She knocked on your door.
It was a woman's voice I heard. I don't know. And my ring camera doesn't work out there, of course, right now. But yeah, she banged on the door and rang the doorbell and screamed, I need help. I need help.
Okay.
And I know she's not out there. I haven't gone out yet, but
Okay.
we were trying to find one of our weapons, but we can't find one.
Okay. So did you ever see her?
I did not, and my camera's not working, so.
Did anyone in your home see her?
No. Well, heard her.
Okay.
But everything's pretty vacant around here. The house across the street is empty. The house next door is empty.
Okay.
There's only like 2 other houses on the street.
Okay. And did you only hear one voice, or did you hear more than one?
Only one. Oh, there's a whole bunch of blood outside. We need an ambulance now. Someone's bleeding.
There's
Someone's
only
bleeding.
one
Blood out there. Yes, there's blood on my front door. On my front steps. Oh, shit.
Okay. Okay.
There's blood on the front door.
Okay. I need you to lock the door and stay in the
It's
house.
locked. It's locked. It's locked. It's locked.
Okay.
Now, we heard at the end of that call, you went back inside and locked the door. After you went back inside, where did you go in the house?
Dispatch had asked us if there was another exit that we can go out through to meet with an officer, and I said, yes, we can go out the garage. So we went into the garage until they told us to open the door.
Okay. So when you were told that police had arrived, did you open the garage door?
I did.
Okay. Can you tell the jury, what did you see when you opened that door?
Well, when the door went up, we could see the police lights, the headlights coming down, just the headlights, no blue lights or anything. And it stopped at a distance, which is 2 houses. They stopped 2 houses down. And then I started to walk out of the garage, and then the next thing we know is we see a black vehicle pull out from in front of the home 1240 Malakote Road and drive off, and the police officer followed behind with blue lights and sirens. Okay. And we were like, what just happened?
Yeah. Now, the car that you saw, that black car, did you recognize it?
I did.
And who did it belong to?
It was Dima Tower. I actually said, what is Dima's car driving away, and why are the police chasing it?
Okay. So you recognize that car from
I did.
Being in the neighborhood?
Well, my husband was working on his car for him. So.
And when was that?
Oh, that week.
All right. Now, when you went outside to meet with police, did you see more blood stains on your driveway in the front area?
We did, yes. I did.
Great. And the state's approaching the witness with what's been pre-marked as state's exhibits 1A through J, which have been previously shown to defense.
Okay. Okay, you may approach him.
Now, Ms. Walton, if you can take your time, go through each one of these images, and then look up when you're finished.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you recognize these photographs?
I do.
How do you recognize them?
They're of my driveway and my house in the walkway.
Yeah. And do these photographs capture a fair and accurate depiction of the front areas of your home as it appeared after you called 911 on August 31st of 2023?
It does.
And at this time, the state would move into evidence states 1A through 1J.
No objection.
All right, A1 through AJ will be admitted. You may publish them at your leisure.
Yes, the state would publish at this time through an exact digital copy.
Just let the bailiffs know, let Carl and Fitz know if you need lights turned on.
Let's see how it shows up.
Okay.
So for the record, the state will start with stage 1A. For Ms. Walton, there is a perfect. Okay. Maybe a slight.
Which button was it on here? Top one or that one?
On the side.
I've got that on.
And then just press the red button down the whole time that you want to be. All right. So this is 1A. And Ms. Walton, is this of you looking straight towards your house from the road?
Yes.
Okay. And using the pointer, could you just kind of point for the jury where your bedroom area is?
Right up in here.
Okay. And if we're looking at that image, where, obviously it's obstructed, but where would your front door be?
That window is the office window, and my front door is literally right next to it, so it goes around the garage.
All right. And this is states 1B. And can you point for the jury where the blood marks are that you see in this image?
Well, there's a trail that goes all the way around right in here.
And I see your truck in this image. What's underneath the gray covering that we see?
It's an old Chevy vehicle truck.
Can you folks hear the witness, jurors?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're having a tough time. I'm having a tough time too. It's difficult. You're looking at the
I
photo and
know.
the
Yeah.
light's
Let me
not-
hold
yep.
this a little closer, and I'll try and lean over. Do we need to start over with those? Do we need to start over? Oh,
That's okay. And you said that's a Chevy.
Yeah, it's an old classic vehicle that my husband is working on.
All right. And so states 1C. Some additional blood. States 1D. So is this on the other side of that Chevy?
It is.
And where does your front pathway start that leads to your door in this image?
Right here.
States 1E. So is this the front pathway?
It is. You came right where I pointed to that one on the last slide. You actually walk this way and walk up.
Okay, so that direction is the front door.
Is the front door. Yes.
And does this show your front door?
It does.
And that's 1F. Now I've got 1G. And can you point for the jury? Do you see any footprints in this image?
I do. I see a partial right there, and I see one right there, and right there. Possibly right there, too.
So is that what you first saw when you opened the door in the 911 call?
I saw that whole pile of it. That is what I saw, yes.
And this is 1H. And 1I. What are we looking at here?
The wall where my ring doorbell is?
Okay. So is that to the side of your front door?
It is.
And you said that the camera itself wasn't functioning at that time.
Not very well. It picked up barely anything, so.
And then this is 1J. Can you tell the jury, do you see any blood on that doorbell?
I do. I see it right here and right there.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm going to shut her off. So if we can have the lights, please, deputy. Thank you. All right. Now, did you speak with police about what you had seen that night?
I did.
All right. In your honor, a moment to confer.
You may.
No further questions at this time.
Okay. Defense, when you're ready.
Good morning, Ms. Walton. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you?
Doing well. How long have you lived at 1200 Malakout Road?
It'll be 3 years in January.
So you had basically just moved there back in August of 23, correct?
It will have been, yeah, it was that year.
Okay, so
It's January to August, yes.
so you'd only lived there about 8 months.
8 months.
Okay. And you said that the house next to you was a rental, so it was vacant at that time?
It was vacant at the time.
How long had it been vacant for?
Probably about 6 months.
Okay. And you said that Malakout Road is a small little area. Is there a cul-de-sac there or something?
No, it's like a group of 3 streets that kind of come around in a circle, and a couple of them cut through, but they loop around. There's only like 2 ways in and out, and it's kind of tucked. There's no cross through. You have to all go out the front.
It's on the backside of like Toledo Blade Elementary School down
It
there,
is,
correct?
correct.
Okay. And your neighbors, the Towers, became friends pretty quickly.
They did.
You said that you would go see each other monthly, correct?
We would all, a few of us that had houses right there would actually meet in the street and just hang out about once a month. And then they would come over, about twice a week during the week or on the weekend.
And your oldest was only a couple years younger than Mr. Tower, correct?
Correct.
All right. Did they ever socialize together?
No.
When you say that you met Mr. Tower briefly, in the 8 months, how many times do you think that you saw him?
A handful. He wasn't around most of the time. I think he had just come back from wherever he was.
When you did see him and talk to him, were there any conversations with him, or was it pretty quick or just see him?
It was brief. He came to my house 2 days prior to this because, as I mentioned, my husband was helping him fix his vehicle.
Okay. And was that the most exposure that you had to him a couple days before that?
Yes.
Did he seem socially adept to you?
Objection.
Sustained.
Okay. Okay. But again, your oldest didn't have any kind of social interaction with him whatsoever.
No, sir.
And even though you guys were having these parties on a regular basis, you didn't have any additional social interaction with him, correct?
Nope.
All right. And when your husband was working on the car with him the week prior, you didn't have any interactions with him then either?
I did not.
Okay. But your husband did?
Yes.
Obviously? Okay.
Yes.
Do you know what part of the car they were working on?
No, I don't know.
If I could have a moment, Judge.
Sure.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
You redirect from the state.
No, Your Honor.
You may step down, ma'am.
Thank
That's
you.
your first step, okay?
Will do. Thank you.
We don't have a step in this courtroom, do we? Is it a ramp? Okay.
It's a ramp.
Okay. Folks, if you want to always stretch and just take a quick stretch break, in between the witnesses is also a good time to do that if you want, okay? And also, if you need to use the restroom, sometimes we'll get rolling during the trial. Just go ahead and raise your hand and let me know, okay? Are you folks okay to continue?
The state would request a brief bathroom break at this time.
See how good that works? They request a bathroom break and I deliver. Okay, let's take a 5-ish minute comfort break. Everybody please stand. Folks, notepads face down, writing implements on top. Don't discuss anything related to your jury service during the break. Everybody stand, jurors exiting. All right, comfort break. We'll come back in 5 or so minutes and continue with your next witness.
It's transport room for a brief comfort break.
Any other?
All right, we have everybody back. Everybody may be seated. State, please call your next witness.
State False Officer Tyler Regatas. Right here, face the court, raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please proceed.
Thank you. Good morning, officer.
Good morning.
Will you please tell us your full name and spell your last name?
Tyler Rogakis, Ragauckas.
And where are you employed, officer?
The city of Northport with the police department.
How long?
5 years.
Okay. Can you please tell us your duties?
I work patrol, primarily just answering calls for service as they come out.
All right. Do you have prior law enforcement experience?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yes, I was a police officer in New Jersey for 9 years.
Where in New Jersey?
Lakewood Township.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to take you back to September 1st of 2023. Will you tell the members of the jury how you first became involved in this case?
On that date, I was the primary officer to get sent to the address on Malakote. I was the initial officer to arrive on scene first.
And that home on Malakote, 1240 Malakote Road, is that in the city of Northport in Sarasota County?
Yes.
Did dispatch alert you to a safety issue at that address?
Yes.
Can you please give us a bit of information about that safety issue?
So prior to my arrival, police dispatch let officers know that there was a female that was screaming from the neighboring house. And as that neighbor opened their front door to see what the commotion was, there was a puddle of blood on her front steps.
Right. Once you arrived at Malakote, can you tell us what was the very first thing you saw?
The first thing I saw was a male closing the trunk to a black vehicle.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. And where was that black car situated with reference to 1240 Malakote Road?
The black car was parked right in the swale directly in front of 1240 Malakote.
Okay. Is there a dashboard camera on your patrol car?
Yes.
Okay. And was it operating on the night of August 31st into the early morning hours of September 1st of 2023?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about how that dash cam operates when a law enforcement officer gets in the driver's seat?
That specific vehicle that I was operating that night, once the vehicle's turned on, the camera rolls 24 hours, 7 days a week, as long as the vehicle is on. You can't turn it off or manipulate the camera in any way.
In addition to the dash camera on your police car, were you also wearing a body camera?
Yes.
Was that regulation at the time and continues to be regulation with the city of Northport?
That's correct.
All right, thank you. And was the body camera also turned on?
Yes.
At the time this incident occurred? Okay. Now, when you turned onto Malakote and saw a person near that black car, did you have, well, I guess it's kind of redundant, but you were in a police car. Did it have the typical insignia and all of the authorized patrol vehicle distinctions on the car?
Yes.
Okay. Did it have jurisdictional markings displayed on the car?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about the lighting on that street.
Lighting was sporadic street lights, but fairly dark.
And when you pulled up to this car, did you have your headlights on?
Correct.
Okay. Were you able to see the activity at the back of the car with your headlights.
Yes.
Did you illuminate that person further?
Yes.
How did you do that?
I activated my high beams on my headlights, as well as takedown lights, which are affixed to the light bar. They're bright white LED lights.
All right. Was there anything obstructing your view between you sitting in the driver's seat of your patrol car and this individual that was at the back of the black vehicle?
No.
Okay. Can you tell us what kind of car it was, in addition to it being black?
It was a black Chevy Sonic.
What, if anything, did you observe about the person that you saw to the rear of or at the trunk area of the black Chevy Sonic?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question, please?
Of course. What, if anything, did you observe about that person that was at the back of that black Chevy Sonic?
What I observed was a white male wearing a tank top and shorts, but specifically, he was covered in blood from his head down his arms.
Okay. And did you have any difficulty in viewing the fact that he had blood virtually everywhere on his body?
No.
Okay. Based upon the dispatch information that you told us about it a bit earlier, and your personal observations of the defendant, did you have any concerns about what was in that car or what was in the trunk of that car?
Yes.
What were your concerns, Officer Ragagos?
So my concerns were the original call was that a female was screaming. At this time, I saw a male only. As he was closing the door, covered in blood, I wasn't sure if he was hiding someone in the trunk or hiding a weapon or something along the lines of covering up a crime.
All right. So as that was going through your mind, what is the very next thing that you did?
I immediately exited my car, unholstered my weapon, and gave the commands to the male that was outside the car. I identified myself as a police officer, and I told him to stop.
Were you wearing a uniform?
Yes.
And how did he react?
The male completely ignored me, entered the driver's side of the Chevy Sonic, and began to accelerate out of the neighborhood.
Okay. When you say accelerate, was he going, just based on your observations, faster than the normal speed on a residential street?
At the initial time, no, but then his speed did progress.
Okay. All right. So did you take further steps after the male got into that black Sonic and just drove away from you, completely ignoring your directions?
Yes.
Okay. What did you do?
I immediately notified other officers and police dispatch of what I observed. At this time, another police officer was entering onto Malakote from the opposite direction. He activated his red and blue lights to effect a motor vehicle stop on the black Sonic, to which the vehicle still failed to yield to police.
Okay, so the person that got in that black car, he just continued down Malakote, even with you behind him and other law enforcement.
Objection, counsel testifying.
Overall, at this time, let's make maybe the question a little shorter.
Yes, sir. Did he completely ignore the other law enforcement that had showed up on the scene?
Yes.
Okay. Who was the person that showed up on the scene in addition to you?
Sergeant Johnson with the Northport Police Department.
Okay. What's Sergeant's first name?
Sergeant Patrick Johnson.
Okay. When you saw the defendant evade Sergeant Johnson, what was your next step?
I immediately got on the radio. At this time, asked permission to initiate a pursuit. Me and the vehicle was stopping in what I had observed, to which it was approved.
Okay. And what do you mean when you say initiate a pursuit?
So when you initiate a pursuit, you have to identify who you are on the radio, reason for the stop, weather conditions, speed, and vehicle maneuvering of the defendant's vehicle.
All right. And was that pursuit approved by your superiors?
Yes.
And did you continue on the pursuit with Sergeant Johnson?
That's correct.
Did anyone else become involved in that pursuit along with you and Sergeant Patrick Johnson?
Yes. Corporal Hart.
Okay. Let's now look at what's been pre-marked for identification. At State's Exhibit number 3, do you recognize this, officer?
Yes.
Would this map help you to explain to the members of the jury exactly what took place after you called out for a pursuit?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm offering State's Exhibit 3 into evidence, please.
No objection.
State's Exhibit 3 will be admitted. You may publish it at your leisure.
Officer, there's a laser pointer up here. If you would use it while you're explaining. It's this little right there. And you're going to have to multitask. So I want you to not only look at the screen behind you, but also speak into the microphone. So you're going to have to swivel your head back and forth to somehow make sure that you're heard by the members of the jury. All right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Officer, I'm now showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 3, and I want you to first point out to the members of the jury the area in Northport where you first encountered the defendant on August 31st of 2023.
So the address of 1240 Malakote is going to be in this general area.
Okay. All right. So let's look at the Northport map, and can you point out? All right. So once the defendant started to flee from you and Sergeant Johnson and who was the other person?
Corporal Hart.
Corporal Hart. Can you show the members of the jury the earlier part of his flight?
The earlier part of the flight was in this general area, which proceeded northbound past Toledo Blade Elementary School. And the road that the laser pointer on now is East Price Boulevard.
More of the Evil Orphan murder trial of Dima Tower is coming up. Press subscribe now so you don't miss a moment from the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today.